Chase Young, real quick. Down at Super Bowl Radio Row, Ron Rivera is doing the rounds and said he's not decided whether to pick up Chase's 5th-year option. Chase is going to make $5.3 million in 2023, and in 2024, his 5th-year option would be more than $17 million. They have until May to decide. Ron is clearly trying to motivate Chase. He said this worked with Duron. Duron came and balled out. Now we have to pay him. If we don't do this with Chase, Chase is going to have the same reaction. I don't know if Chase will have the same reaction, and I think Ron and Chase have had a pretty eventful relationship where maybe they don't see eye to eye as much, and Chase might be a hard guy to see eye to eye with because he comes from such a pedigree. This caught me off guard. I thought even with Chase's last 2 seasons, they would pick this up. This is the right move from my shorts are too tight. I'm a football coach from the 70s. I have a whistle around my neck. You need to earn your spot. But with Chase and with the talent that's there, this struck me as an odd move, or at least odd quotes from Ron. Maybe they still end up picking it up regardless.
Yeah, I mean, they have had a rocky relationship. You think about early on, Ron talked about him and Chase sitting down and watching tape together to try and figure out how he could be better. And Ron did a really good job of not calling out Chase in the media early on. And then when he got frustrated later in that season, you started hearing him talk about some of the mistakes Chase was making. You go to last season and Ron, pussyfooted around the whole thing, but the organization couldn't have been happy with the way that everything went down with him coming back from injury and all that. But all Ron talked about was we want when Chase feels healthy and can go 100%, like he's, he'll be ready to go. I think it's a straight up challenge to Chase in public, and it's a weird, take from Ron who kind of zigzags and goes up and down and all around in terms of how he wants to handle player, negotiations and relationships and stuff like that. But I think after last season's, I'll call them shenanigans at best with, Chase coming back from the knee injury and how long it took after they activated him off the PUP list. I think this is Ron, issuing an offseason challenge to Chase, which, feels odd considering, the way that he's handled Cam Curl and, other players along the way. But, the one thing about the Commanders front office that, they've done a pretty good job of is when they work on these extensions and stuff like that, you really don't hear a whole lot of, discussion about it. And it just kind of pops up at the end. I think of, both Logan Thomas and John Allen. There wasn't a whole lot of chatter about those things getting done.
They talked about the John Allen deal for months.
They talked about it, but
we care about John. We're going to get that done.
There was 3 months of
Terry and John. They did that.
Quiet. Terry, they definitely did. But
here's what I think: if they view their challenge to Daron Payne as a success, I think they're all lying. They tried to trade him twice. Duron showed up, balled out. They tried to trade him at the draft and before the beginning of the season, or at least kick the tires on it. And now they're going to have to tag him, which is just a road to nowhere. Like that's the plan. That's the upside. I don't think they're getting a deal done there. If that's, I don't think this was the right way to handle it. I think you've lost all leverage in the situation. If you did want to consider a trade, now you probably don't have to. And the Chase situation is very, very different. If I had to guess, they're probably still more upset about the lack of playmaking in 21 than the injury timeline in 22. Like the injury timeline in 22 clearly went longer than everybody expected, but go watch the tape from 21 because I don't know. And then you're coming back from a major knee injury. I think whether you're lying or not, and Lord knows football coaches lie, you get asked that question, oh, of course we're picking that up.
Yeah.
Of course.
Creating a story out of nothing. You just made a huge deal.
All of these coaches lie all the time. Even if you're lying, oh, of course we're picking that up. Because it has more value. I don't know that they're trading him. I don't even know that will be under consideration. But if you're not picking up his option, you should start considering all these things. And there's more value to trade him if you have the option.
Yep.
I don't think you should trade him, and I think you should pick up the option, for the record.
Yeah, let's
definitely should pick up the option.
Yeah, that's the normal way. Give him 2 more years here, and if he's great, then you sign him to a $1 billion contract with Jeff Bezos at the helm and Eric Bieniemy as head coach.